Adam here, So Was Her Podcast. I'm talking to Samantha about her book series. How you doing, Samantha?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, of course.
So why don't you give everyone a rundown on what your book series is about?
So it follows the story of Jerica, who was an orphan that was kind of left on the side of the road. The king of the kingdom got a prophecy that she was going to need to be adopted to save his kingdom. Well, it turns out he was lied to, and she kind of turns the kingdom on its head, and a lot of devious stuff starts happening around the castle that he wasn't prepared for.
Okay, so it's is it strictly fantasy?
I mean, it's not so much fantasy, more mystery with plot twists.
Okay. And where did what was like the genesis of it?
What do you mean, the genesis?
Like the seed, what sparked the idea?
Funny story, actually, the book series Animorphs. One night, I was sleeping, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, he was snoring, and I couldn't fall asleep, and I just kept thinking about the Animorphs series, and I was like, you know what, I could write a book. Like, I always dabbled in it when I was younger. I entered contests when I was like in 3rd grade, and, won gift certificates and stuff to random stuff, so I was always dabbling in it, but when I got the idea, it was because I couldn't sleep, and then the next morning I kind of put the pieces together, and I knew that I wanted a strong female in it, and I knew that I wanted, just plot twists, and it kind of just was like a puzzle that went together.
That's really cool, and it's really interesting that you were thinking about Animorphs at 2 o'clock in the morning, and that was your jump-off point?
I don't know why. I was just like, I kept picturing like the covers in my head, like, how it shows the progression from a person into an animal, and I was like, I could do that. It was like the one passion that I actually thought that I could go through with, and I really have him to thank, because he was snoring and I couldn't sleep, so, the next morning I rushed home. I was in college. I came home and I'm like, I'm gonna write a book, and that was back in 2015, so it's been a process, but...
That's really cool. And I see you have 2 different titles here. Are they sequels or just stories in the same universe?
No, it's the same series. So this one actually kind of leaves off on a cliffhanger, and this one picks up exactly where it left off. But they focus on 2 different characters. So Jerica is the orphan, and Anders is the prophet. So both books are named after them because it just kind of shows the progression of how everything in the kingdom took place.
Very cool. And is it something that's an ongoing process? You're working on a 3rd?
Honestly, I haven't. I think that the story's pretty well told between the 2 books. But for some reason, if it came to light that there was some place that I could go with a 3rd one, or if people really loved it and they had their own ideas about it, like, and threw out like fan fictions or something that I could go off of, I'd totally be open to write a new one. Very
cool. And are you like kind of marinating any other ideas? Are you still in this world?
No, I have a totally different novel. I'm on my 3rd edit of it, and I plan to hopefully have it out by the beginning of 2022 if everything goes according to plan.
Very cool. That's awesome. You want to tell people where they can find you?
So s.robichaud, hard last name, s.robichaud _ writes, excuse me, can you cut that part out? I messed up. s.robichaud writes _ on Instagram, and my books are available on Amazon.
Very cool. Well, thank you for taking the time. We'll let you get back to the con.
Thank you.